All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 1 o'clock, and we will start with Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That makes more sense.
So this is a joint meeting of the two districts, and we'll start with roll call. We'll start with your
Henry Hollander?
Dean Berkeley,
Larry McPhail.
Bruce Ansel,
Rich Mossman.
John Roberts.
Mary Beth Neal.
Harry Andrews.
Jason Vanderbeek.
Joni Chester.
All right. And we're going to start with the Volunteer Pension Board meeting. And in your packet would have been the minutes from March 21 Pension Board meeting. So we would need a motion to approve. Is there any questions or discussion?
so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. Pension eligibility.
Mr. Chairman, Board, welcome to a wonderful afternoon. Today we would ask your approval of pension eligibility for a gentleman that is retired from what used to be District 13. His name is Patrick Keithier, I believe I got that right. But we are asking for action on that today for pension eligibility.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Other discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Anything else before the pension board?
No, sir, no today.
We'll adjourn that, and we'll open the regular joint board meeting. And I was told there's no public comment, so we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda, which you've had in your packet and hopefully have reviewed. And is there anything that anyone wants to discuss or take out of that consent agenda for discussion?
Do I have a motion to approve it first, or? I just would be interested in hearing, the report on the Station 12, mutual aid, responses with Bellingham. I noticed we have a map, in here, but there wasn't a whole lot of, detail to that, so I was curious if perhaps we could get more information on it.
Yes.
If you have.
I do. Unfortunately, that's as close as we can zoom in without destroying the
Sure.
resolution on the map. So what you're seeing there is clusters of calls. And next month, having looked at it, I will draw, you'll get a better sense of which unit is going to which cluster, so that you can see that it's not just Station 12, but it's Station 69 as well. It's getting pulled into the city. If you look at the map, you can kind of see there's some clusters off of the guide meridian, to the west of the guide. And those would be Station 69 responses into the city. If you follow I-5 and then look, if you can picture where Sunset Drive is, those clusters are going to be a little east on Sunset, so kind of just west of the District 4 City of Bellingham border. There's also a cluster of calls to the south, which is, there's some multifamily units at the Alabama and Electric Avenue, which is, Engine 4 is one of the busiest engines in the city, or Station 4 is. And so they're getting pulled down into that Station 4 area, which is served, that's that Electric and Alabama area. So those are really the clusters that we're seeing.
And is this for 1 month or what?
That's for 1 month. So the number in there is that's the number of responses you're seeing on
So that's 40 calls.
in the cluster, yep. So
And do we have any idea about a service time or transports or?
I honestly don't have that information. We'll see if we can, we'll put that in the next month's report, if we can drill down that far. We can certainly pull out the number of transports out those transport times are gonna be relatively short. So they should be getting back into service more rapidly than they would say from the Linden area or even Birch Bay or Plain area, obviously.
And do we have any data on the reverse? How many times they come into our jurisdiction?
I'd ask you not to read my mind, because I was actually just thinking of doing that. We'll include that next month as well. I can tell you that one thing that's happened, that we've noticed, that happened fairly quickly, from just north of Smith Road to all the way through District 4, for the first time ever, we're meeting the NFPA requirements for the amount of firefighters we have on scene at a structure fire.
Okay.
And we have had an instance where Bellingham units were first on scene in Station 69's area and extinguished a fire before it got away from a significant commercial fire, or what would have been a significant commercial fire.
Okay.
So,
It would be nice to
Yes.
know the reciprocation just before we make any judgments.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Anything else on the consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Second. And we should note in the minutes that our missing commissioner has arrived. Usually have them noted. And before we actually vote on the consent agenda, let me read the totals under the voucher and payroll benefits section. The direct deposit payroll amount, $294,249.16. Non-direct payroll, $110.36. Benefits voucher, $352,298.08. Monthly expenditure voucher, $65,458.51. Capital projects, $2,308.30. Capital projects facility voucher, $5,339.46. No more discussion. All in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Commissioner meeting reports. Do we have some?
Yes, we had a cross-border meeting on the 9th. Sat and listened to the MCI that they're going to practice at Sumas with a train derailment with chlorine gas release from across the border. Going to be a joint effort between the departments on that end. North Whatcom was just sitting listening. And there was a couple of points brought up. One thing they did forget to do was involve Transport Canada, because they were bringing in a rail car that's going to be derailed on the Canadian side and then being dragged by the locomotive to the US side, covering both US and Canada Customs with the gas and a possible full closure of the port on the on this exercise. So it's still on the planning, but it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good operation with the training and what's all going to go on and how all mutual aid are going to work and processes. So it's finally moving.
What is the date of that one?
October 14th is the planned date. They're still crossing T's and dotting I's, but it sounds quite interesting. They're going to have, one of the interesting things is there's going to be a large tractor stolen from the John Deere dealership on the Canadian side. It's going to be used to ram the rail car, roll off the track, get dragged down south. The two people that stole the tractor, one is going to go on foot north, where the RCMP are going to be involved in, and one is going to go south, which the Border Patrol is going to be involved in. So it's, every agency is going to be involved in the whole exercise. Sounds pretty good.
You're giving away all the good stuff.
Yeah, drag it to my place.
Yep.
This was a regularly scheduled cross-border meeting?
Yes, yeah.
Does anybody from our department?
There were two meetings that day. The first one is a regular cross-border meeting. That's a quarterly thing for us.
Mhm.
And then the one that Commissioner Berkeley is referring to was after lunch that same day.
Other committee?
I had a follow-up to the RFA project that I am working on. I met with Chief Redding, former Snow County 1 chief that is retired now. He was gracious enough to meet me in Bellingham for coffee and spend a couple hours talking about his experience with RFA formation and stuff. Very helpful, very knowledgeable, but is not interested in sitting on any of our committees or helping, since he's recently retired and finding that he's doesn't have time to do what he currently is doing. He had some really good points, and I won't go into significant detail, but you know, he said, one, you should consider why you want to form an RFA. And he said there's kind of 3 key reasons why you should. One, there should hopefully be some cost savings, and potentially, he says that's a tough one. It's hard initially to maybe realize any cost savings as you really started up, but the next one being cost containment. So once you sort of get up and running and rolling, you should be looking towards, if you do form an RFA, are there ways to have some sort of better cost containment than if each one was functioning individually or separately?
Can I ask a question? What's an RFA?
Sorry, Regional Fire Authority.
Okay,
So
thank you.
it's a way for 2 different districts to combine legally, rather than like a contract for service or
Yeah, yeah.
something like that. So it's actually it's a legal joining of 2 or more
Is
jurisdictions.
South Wacom?
They
one
are
of
a
those?
regional fire authority, South Wacom.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. The third one being, you know, value-added service. Can we provide a better service or a better bang for the buck? And I think, you know, that was one of the things we talked about before, is why are we even thinking about this? And that is, can we eventually or currently provide a better service for what we're currently spending? And also looking to the future and you know, where funding is going. We're still restricted by the 1% increases. I think we have a discussion about a levy in our packet here today because of the struggles we have with our current budget. Good information. He also stated that the fewer parties at the table initially, the better. He's been on large ones, and I actually sat on one with, there were probably 25 people in the room, and after 7 meetings, we accomplished absolutely nothing, and we dissolved the committee. Having a smaller, more focused group is more efficient, and it's my understanding now that the laws or the regulations have been updated to where if in your development you state how you would bring in other jurisdictions, then you would have a way to do that. So if it were to be us 4 and 7, that would be 9 people initially at the table, and then we could write how we would bring in anyone else in the future. So I think District 7 talked about Sandy Point, perhaps, and then there's Point Roberts potentially at some point. Maybe say Linden at some point in the future. And then he's we look at the future of ALS in the county too. Are we going to be a player in that process? They said it was really helpful for them to keep a log of every question that was brought forth to their committee. It was a frequently asked question log that he said we responded to every question. It didn't matter who it came from, whether it was employees, local staff, disgruntled citizens, whatever. He said we logged them, we had them posted on our website, and we answered in the committee every question. To the point where the largest naysayer said, you guys are gonna beat me on this one. So, they did their homework and they did a nice job. And then there's some other issues we can talk about later as far as, you know, who's got more money, who's got more debt. I thought it was interesting and important to understand a little bit more about growth management and what that means to fire districts if cities like Bellingham want to annex into their growth management area, or if Blaine were to do the same and impact perhaps our funding mechanism if they chose to do something different. So to involve the cities, and I don't know what relationship District 7 has with the city of Ferndale, but we have to figure that out. But we should also have open communications with the city of Blaine too, to let them know what's going on and make sure that they're on board if we decide to move forward. He recommended a Karen Reed. I think you're familiar with her. Apparently she's done a lot of RFA consulting, and he said that she did a really great job keeping people on track, holding people accountable, and moving the process through effectively and efficiently. I don't think we have anyone within our ranks that would have that experience or the ability to maybe keep us focused on a process. You know, it's a 2 to 3 year process from initial meetings to getting it before the voters and getting it implemented. So having someone, I think, with that experience, and I mean, she's not the only person out there, but she came highly recommended. So that would be somebody I could follow up with and find out some more. Or if Mr. Davis has any other information that would be useful for us. We can talk about that. Anyway, it was a valuable couple hours meeting with him. He said, obviously, if we had any questions or concerns, to feel free to call him. But like I said, he didn't want to sit on any committees or anything.
Sounds like a valuable contact for us.
Yeah, he's been through it. You know, he's got over 40 years experience in the fire service. Started in Monmouth Terrace and worked his way through the ranks, and then ended up as a consultant interim chief up at Snow One, and he's on the I think National Emergency Response Disaster Response team, and he was the incident commander at the Oso incident. So I mean, he's got tons of experience.
Well, and this seems like in this very early stage where we don't have any idea if any of this is going to happen or not. Just those 3 questions he asked are really good questions. Is it cost savings? What about cost containment? And will there be value-added service? Those are, I mean, 3 things we should be ready to answer at the very beginning. So that alone is worth your time. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Make sure those 3 questions are in the notes. Anybody else? Goodies? Okay. Anything from the local this month? Just smiles and satisfied.
I can provide you with some information from
Thank
the
you.
last large meeting. The Benevolent presented 6 scholarships to a total of $3,000, 2 of which were for Blaine students, 1 of which was Commissioner McPhail's granddaughter. Bye.
Sorry.
His youngest, yeah.
Anything else from the local? What's left of it? All right. Unfinished business. Hmm? Legal, yes. We're just staying legal. Unfinished business, master plan.
Yes, Commissioners, just a quick update. We put out a request for qualifications April 1st, per the board's request last month. So far, we've gotten one response back from ESCI, so they're very interested in being part of this. And I think it goes till the end of the month, April 30th, for the other two agencies that we reached out to. So at the end of this month, we'll review them and then make a decision on which company that we want to use to do our master plan.
Okay. Good, thank you. So make sure we put that on unfinished business again next month. Self-contained breathing apparatus.
Scott, which is the identified manufacturer that we have kind of chosen to pursue, is coming out with a 2018 update. And it's expected to come out in the fall. And they're not comfortable giving out prices until that update's complete, so we're not interested in giving a bid spec until we get the prices. So we're continuing to refine the bid spec, and I'll have more for you in the next couple of months about what's.
Probably they're expecting the price to drop.
Right now.
We'll wait for that.
So we'll wait.
Thank you. GMT.
Yes, Commissioner, I do have an update. We did get notification that we are supposed to get our first reimbursement by the end of this month. That's what they said. They finally committed to an actual month. It's been extended. I think it started late last year. They said, yep, it's coming, and then we'll be there in the first quarter. And we got another update, well, it may be coming, and now it's for sure coming. So, and another thing we don't know either is the amount yet.
We should hold our breath on this one as well.
We should buy SCBA's with what's coming. So, I will update the board just as soon as we get the reimbursement in-house, but I would expect to see it in the next couple of weeks.
Because if it's true what we've heard, this could be a significant amount. So.
The first reimbursement is for a partial year, so the second one that we would see later on this year would be the larger. But they're both going to be significant.
More than we currently have now.
More yes. Keep that on for next month as well. All right, new business, interlocal agreement. We got excited to hear that.
Next one.
All right.
Yes, Commissioners, because this is a joint meeting and we get to only be together once a year, I thought that I'd put together just a little synopsis of where we've been over the length of our interlocal agreement with District 4. Believe it or not, it's been 8 years now. I can't believe it's been that long already, because we started this in 2011. So this is a pretty brief presentation, but my hope is that through this process and at the end of the process, it stirs some conversation, that we can start talking about what the future may hold for both of our districts. And I know we're talking about RFAs right now, but there's some things in this presentation that I think we kind of forget about over the years. And so I thought I'd bring that to you today. So in 2011, District 4 and District 21 signed an interlocal agreement for services. And since that time, we have blended staffing, which includes administration and the line staff. We've blended resources, which can include tools and equipment, buildings, all of those things. The budgets have been integral together over the last 8 years. And the future planning has also been as one agency. So both 4 and 21 have really come together well over the years in just the overall function of the fire district. And it feels like one fire district because we're so intertwined. So that's kind of where we started. These are some of the milestones that we've been able to see over the last 8 years. We created a new staffing model for District 4. When we joined together, they still had day crews there and volunteers that took over overnight. Since then, we've been able to staff up that station to full-time coverage, 24/7. That's a big step there. Years ago, we eliminated some apparatus debt that District 4 had. It was some apparatus that we had used for some wildland fires and things like that, and we just felt like it was best at that time to eliminate some of that debt and kind of make some efficiencies there. For the first time ever in Whatcom County, we developed a Class A burn cell there at District 4 in their tower. The support of the District 4 board was integral in that because that's their facility, so they really had to support that project. And it's been quite a few years now, but it was a joint effort, we got that accomplished. Part of that wasn't just the facility, it was writing all of the policy and procedure and training that goes around that. A big accomplishment for Whatcom County. We received an EMS levy in District 4's area. We've upgraded several of the safety systems at Station 12, including most recently the SCBA filling station. That was a joint effort there as well. Just last year, District 4 sold an easement at Station 13, which is out on East Smith Road and Everson Goshen Road. This is an easement that led to a cell tower that's behind the property. And they negotiated, actually it was under Chief Burnett and the board last year, they negotiated a contract to American Tower to sell the easement to make access to that tower. And that came to $220,000 that is currently in District 4 Reserve Fund. City of Bellingham annexed the Trickle Creek area a few years ago, which used to be part of District 4. And during that time, District 4 received a 3-year mitigation to help offset some of the lost revenues in that area. Since we came together in 2011, we've had 2 fire chiefs and now currently an interim fire chief. District 4 board has a new fire commissioner since then, and the board chair position has changed a couple of times over the years. Most recently, for the first time ever in Whatcom County, an automatic gate agreement was